Wonderful colleagues. The time is 9:05, so I'll be introducing you. Good morning, everyone. Our first session in track 1, Reimagining Blended Learning Through Artificial Intelligence, Insights from Zambia's TVET sector, explores how AI is reshaping teaching, learning, and skills development in technical and vocational education and training. We're joined by two remarkable leaders driving educational innovation across Africa. Twaambo Chiinza is head of the Department of Applied Sciences at the Technical and Vocational Teachers College. An educational technology expert, she has led national and international projects with UNESCO, ILO, and the Commonwealth, advancing ICT integration and digital transformation across teacher training and TVET systems. We also have in the room today Dr. Alice Shemi, as an internationally recognized researcher and consultant in information systems and technology, with over 30 years of experience across Southern Africa, her work spans digital transformation, enterprise systems, AI-enhanced business processes, and strategic IS management. A prolific scholar and pioneer in IT curriculum development, she continues to shape policy and practice in higher education. Together, they'll be discussing how Zambia's CBT systems are evolving through blended approaches, bridging innovation, access, and practical skill development for the future workforce. Welcome, welcome. We are very excited to hear your panel discussion today. It's amazing to see such academic women so strong sitting here in this room. I'm very excited to hear everything that you have to say. I don't know if there's anything you'd like to start with before I ask you a few questions, just to start off the panel discussion.
Thank you so much for that very rich introduction. I also feel like there's so much that we can learn from this particular symposium, which has actually happened from yesterday, and I'm eager to share what we have experienced in the Zambia and Tibet context. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Twaambo. I think with that, let me start with the questions, because that's where all the great and rich information is going to come from. Would each of you please briefly describe your involvement in the PBDT initiative and the AI Cascade project, as well as what motivated these interventions within Zambia's TVET landscape?
Okay, thank you so much. Let me start, then Alice can finish up if she wants to. So the PBDT initiative started with a survey, a regional survey that was done by Commonwealth of Learning, that looked at what are the gaps that TVET practitioners have in relation to technology integration. And that led to a report, and the report was further operationalized by the designing of an actual blended learning course. That is where the preparing for blended TVET came in. So this course is completely online, and it is for TVET practitioners in Zambia in order to build their capacity in blended learning. And it was done at TVTC, where I'm a head of department at TVTC. And that particular intervention was first looking at TVTC lecturers to train them as master trainers or trainer of trainers, who will be able to not only implement blended learning in skills-based training, but also to be master trainers who are able to train the rest of the TVET institutions within the country. So I was one of the first master trainers that were trained. There were 6 at TVTC, who then proceeded to train the remaining lecturers who are now training other TVET institutions. Thank you.
That's very exciting to hear, and I love to see that the collaboration is strong. Dr. Alice, do you have anything to add from your perspective?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I also appreciate the time taken to be able to put up this this forum where we can exchange valuable lessons, even as technology keeps on increasing in terms of impacting in our organizations. I have one part, an interactive experience with the Copperbelt University, which is a state institution, but it is at a higher level in terms of the numbers, and that's impacting on how we can adopt technology to be able to use it. for our delivery of lessons. So we now have over 21,000 students, and most of them are desiring to use Moodle. And from that perspective, we also now interact with TVET. On the TVET side, as a researcher and also a promoter for Twaambo's work, where she is practically teaching there, and also a researcher on the PhD program. So on my side, there's a lot of interaction that we can learn, even as we try to apply the theories of pedagogy, technology adoption in our environment, and also looking at social interaction and collaboration. So I'm trying to enforce the application of this when we are using Moodle. We are also involved, as well as interacting with the technology, organization, and environment model, and the TPAC model. So we are trying to see not so much of imposing the theories, but we are trying to learn as people are interacting, students are interacting with ChatGPT and Moodle. We are trying to be able to see whether technology makes meaningful sense for us in our context. In a nutshell, that is where I come in. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for that detailed explanation. I think the important thing there is you also mentioned that, you know, this is so very important from your perspective also as a technologist. And I think that's where a lot of us are coming from during this conference, this idea of blending technology into learning and doing it in a very, I wouldn't say nuanced way that really brings out the human essence of the people that are taking these courses. So with that and the technology, I want us to move into some questions around the AI aspect of your curriculum design. You did mention a few tools such as ChatGPT. However, I'd like to know, how were these AI tools specifically used to make your, in particular, the electrical curriculum more competency-based and adaptive? And that's open to both speakers, whoever would like to take it first.
Okay, thank you so much. I can start. So in terms of the competency-based, Zambia is actually in the learning process of how to actually deliver competency-based training, though it has been officially introduced through our regulator for TVET, TVETA, and so on. But when it came to the use of ChatGPT through prompt engineering, we're able to actually develop lesson plans that are competency-based. So that one actually helped the educators' minds to be opened to actually know to say, even if I'm still learning how to deliver competency-based training, even from a normal knowledge-based curriculum, I can actually be able to come up with a competency-based, and it helps us to look at content that previously was just about rote learning. It's actually allowed us to focus on the skills. And apart from the lesson plans, through the same prompts, educators were able to even be given access and ideas on what possible tools can be used to actually build those competencies. So we found that previously, where people were just saying pupils were listening and so on, you were able to see a report was produced. You find that circuits were actually wired and so on through the technologies that were used. And additionally, we were also able to use H5P in Moodle to develop the interactive quizzes, where we're looking at people are able to actually wire the circuits through simulations. And then depending on the grade that they achieve, they're able to be led to specific parts of the course, either for additional content in case they have not done so well, and those that have managed to reach above 85%, they move on to the next phase. So that one got people really excited to see the possibilities that are there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Twaambo. I think there's a lot to be learned from the personalized learning journey that you're speaking of. Alice, do you have, Dr. Alice, do you have anything that you'd like to add as well with regards to the AI tools in terms of competency-based and adaptive learning?
Yes, thank you so much. Just a bit to add on. There are various ways in which we can prompt students to be able to go beyond ChatGPT, because sometimes they just sit and because the AI has told them this, they sit. So we put them in groups, especially for students. We put them in groups so that they can create future ways of going beyond what ChatGPT has said. So that way, it assists them to be focused and be streamlined in their modules, but at the same time, they are able to see beyond, so that as they design their projects, they don't rely only on the materials or the content that is produced through the AI and the videos. Obviously, the videos assist them to be able to prompt in the ways in which challenges are resolved, and then which they can now try to simulate and see whether in their local environment, in our local environment now, we can solve certain problems. So definitely there's a way in which we are trying to see that students should participate in solving these challenges that we face. Thank you.
That's actually wonderful to hear, Dr. Alice. I think that's always a concern from our side as academics is, you know, there are all these wonderful tools, but are the students using the tools to actively engage with learning, or are they using it as a way to bypass the learning? And I think that that's a wonderful way that you've balanced automation with your teacher expertise in bringing students together to actually discuss stuff rather than to just merely use the tool. I think grouping students definitely lends itself quite well in that situation. In terms of taking this AI and the curriculum design, I think it brings us to thinking about the leadership and the implementation in order to make these decisions. So TVTC's success in the PBT-DT project, I've read that it was linked to strong leadership and ministry involvement. What leadership actions or strategies made the biggest difference in what you were able to accomplish?
Okay, I can start. The success rate for the project in terms of completion was 79%, and the study actually revealed that that was primarily one of the major factors was due to the leadership that you have just mentioned. So the leadership for TVTC were not just there to support the initiative, they were active participants. So when we were training the facilitators for TVTC, the principal was part of the training, he was a participant. And then for myself, I was actually with the training manager, who is the vice principal. So he was a participant, he was even a team leader in the group. We divided the facilitators into 6 groups, and management was there to support, to ensure that the activities are given priority. And apart from that, they led by example. So in terms of follow-up for those people that were not able to complete or meet certain milestones, the leadership was in the forefront to ensure that they were given time to look at the various activities. It was actually also mandatory that when you are trained, you must also implement in the programs that you're actually teaching. So in terms of supervision, it made it very easy because it was something that was actually being led by the management, and everybody else was encouraged to not only participate, but to also display skills that they can actually now implement in their own work life. Though, of course, one of the other factors we said is that the initiative also was successful because it was teaching them a skill that they can actually use to better their practice. Thank you.
Thank you kindly,
Thank you.
Twaambo. Dr. Alice?
Thank you. Thank you. On the side of the Copperbelt University, we have leadership interaction at different levels. At the top level, we have seen that the Ministry of Education and in collaboration with the Ministry of Technology and Science, emphasizing policy in terms of changing the mindset of teachers, lecturers, to be able to adopt PBDC at all levels. So we have that, and then the second is the management of the university have put up policy. They actually initiated the desire that all staff needed to reorient themselves on policies that enhance blended learning teaching. So we've gone through a full session, which is actually now can be added as a certificate for all staff. Generally speaking, when you have been teaching for a long time, you tend to think you know it all. So we have seen that in cooperation, and we have participated. A great number of staff have participated in that blended learning. It's called the technology oriented teaching at university. So that has initiated, you know, and encouraged a new and envisaged application of using technology in teaching. And then we have had in each and every specialization, we had to have persons integrating into the normal, the modern way of teaching, emerging technologies, using AI. And so these were sessions that have been going on for the whole year. And it's well monitored and well assessed. And these issues have been now integrated in our course materials, and we see many staff actually adopting it. So this is primary critical for leadership to ensure that they don't just speak, but be able to see to it implementation has taken place. Though we have challenges in terms of the actual tools. We may have Moodle and certain apps that are open source, but generally speaking, it's now the agreement between staff and the management to be able to put in some of the devices that we need, like labs, so that we can actually demonstrate. So we are trying to make sure that the management can fulfill that other part of implementation. But definitely we are on the right track to ensure that leadership, institutional leadership, drives and are leading the rest of the organization community to be able to do the right thing. So thank you.
I'm glad to hear that, Dr. Alice. Twaambo, I noticed you put your hand up. You wanted to add something?
Oh, yes, I just wanted to reiterate what Alice indicated about leadership. To also add on that the Ministry itself of Technology and Science has a number of very important policies that have been effected. So for example, we have the AI policy, we have also the ICT implementation strategy. Now, all those things are the policies that are helping institutions to know how they can now contextualize them on the ground. No wonder one of the key aspects that came out from the paper was the gap between the policies and how the institutions themselves, as well as industries that are related, are able to actually actionalize what has been put into policy.
Thank you so much. I'm really moved by the fact that you know, the ministry has taken it to heart, and they're actually putting a lot of effort and thought into it. But I do hear you, and I think it's the same for many educational spaces in the global South, but particularly in African South, that budget and financial constraints are always going to, I don't want to say lead the decisions, but it definitely affect the decisions that we make. I noticed that when we spoke previously, that you've taken all of this into account. So you've essentially built a technology organization environment model with constructivist principles to frame your projects in a way to circumvent some other issues that we generally experience. What I wanted to know is then, how do these theories shape the practical decisions about AI integration in relation to those financial constraints that we often have to deal with? Whoever would like to take it.
All right. I thought Alice wanted to say something, but I can still go ahead. So the frameworks actually allowed us to see the various aspects. For example, the technology and organizational environment framework was able to help us actually pinpoint to say this leadership support is quite key for the operationalization of these interventions. Then also on the social constructionism, it was able to help us look at the need for the interaction and the support actually. No wonder one of the things that we did was to have workshops away from the program itself, just to build capacity among ourselves. It was not an individual undertaking, it was for the institution, and the institution is about the educators themselves. That's why I mentioned previously to say it was actually easier for us because they were able to actually apply. So even those that had a number of challenges, they were able to see their colleagues improving, how fast they're able to interact with their classes. Even if they're out of campus, they are still able to give work to the students, they're able to actually impart skills. Then that one also helped them to say, okay, this can actually help me because that friend of mine has been able to do it. And then they're able to support each other and be able to meet their milestones. Thank you.
May I continue? Yeah.
You may, Dr.
Yes.
Alice.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. In addition to what Twaambo has said, technology should not restrict us as researchers. The theories are brought in, they are trying to help us to understand our environment better so that we can uh, resolve our situations. So even as we are looking at a TOE environment, like Twaambo has said, we may have other factors aiding, and not everything can be exciting. We will also have to find means and ways of resolving those areas that are not in place at the time. So technology should not limit us. Theories are, so to speak, a way in which we are exposed to be able to understand our environment and chart the forward issues and ways of resolving those challenges. So as we are looking at TPAC, it can direct us to technology, but sometimes we forget that technology is aiding us. The student is the main issue here in the environment, in the context of our institution, and we want to deliver the best. So when we look at the theory, we now also are supposed to be reminded that technology on its own doesn't do much, but if it can help to deliver the lesson to the student, then we are interacting. So socially, there's interaction between the various stakeholders within the room. So that's how the theories assist us. We are not saying these are the only theories. We can also adopt those theories that help us to bring the context to light, and we are able to produce or to make learning sense to the student. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Alice. That's absolutely wonderful. I love the fact that you're saying that you don't want technology to limit the student, which actually leads beautifully into my next questioning. I just wanted to find out how we can ensure that AI-supported blended learning doesn't actually widen existing gaps between urban and rural TVET institutions.
Okay. There are a number of things that. Oh, you can go ahead, Alice.
Can proceed. Twaambo, you can proceed.
Okay, so what I want to just say based on what we have found out from this particular study is about the need for context. It's not a one-size-fits-all. There are a number of aspects that need to be considered before you look at this technology, that technology. So like the TPAC that Alice mentioned, so now it should not be a means to which we end up now saying these are rural schools, these are urban and so on. It's about packaging content in a way in which it can be used by whatever TVET institution. So for TVTC as a center of excellence, what we normally do, like we had a training last April, where we are building capacity in other TVET institutions, and we give them a wide range of tools that they can use, and then which one they adopt depends on where they are. So for example, we had some who didn't even have access to laptops. So in that instance, we went to Meta that is on WhatsApp, which most of the institutions were able to say we have WhatsApp, we're able to access Meta. And then we still say, can we use that to make your lesson plans competency based? So it's about looking at what technology can work here, not applying a technology in any way. So it's about looking at the human aspects, and then we see, okay, based on what is existing, the infrastructure, the capacity of the teachers, as well as access to devices by the students, which is also a very key consideration. And then we now make the decision which one based on the affordances of the technology. Thank you.
Thank you kindly, Twaambo. Dr. Alice?
It's just widening the aspect of the context and delivering what they have. Some contexts really, especially in rural areas, are lacking a lot in terms of affordability, even that's just that network. So there are times whereby we can break a semester into parts, manageable parts, and be able to provide maybe a means of taking the learners to urban centers or centers that have been equipped with those the tools that they can use. Even just the network can be a teething issue. So we are planning to be able to take our students to places where they can be able to access the needed resources for learning, like lifting them up, like I said, from in a session, in a semester, being able to at least provide them with the skills that otherwise will not be realizable if they remained in their location with poor network. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Alice and Twaambo. With that being said, you both have vast experience in this project now. And I think taking that into account, my last question is going to be regarding if you could offer one piece of advice to another country embarking on its AI and blended TVET journey, what would it be?
Twaambo?
Okay, I'm just trying to share my video. Maybe you can start. Thank you.
Okay.
Dr. Alice, you're more than welcome to start.
Okay, thank you. So my advice, let me give it to Twaambo.
Okay, so my advice, I think even my supervisor will agree with me. It's about using technology to enhance social construction. That would be my major takeaway from what we have learned in this particular study. And then also using technology to increase learner interaction, because technology can make it adaptive, the learning process. It can make it more inclusive, because we also have students who are differently abled, especially in TVET. And then it's about building a learner who has capacities that they can actually apply. Now, that is not done with a one size fits all. So it's about understanding their context, understanding their major objectives, what they want to achieve, and then now looking at what technology will be there to give them that affordance. That would be my key takeaway. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Twaambo. Dr. Alice?
Thank you. Thank you so much. I like your questions. They kind of like open up, another side of looking at things. But I like it because all these are questions that all of us are bombarded with. With terms of AI, I have learned from the way I see our now new management. We got this management, senior management last year. So I've seen that there's a spirit of holding each other. So you can imagine if we are in this session, all of us are holding each other. We are coming from different backgrounds. So I envisage within an institution that holding of each other's hands is to be able to carry AI, to treat AI for our good and not to our bad. So we depend on each other. If I'm holding the hand of a person who is coming from management, I need to understand that they will give me resources. They will provide room for us to understand our problem and be able to resolve those problems with AI or other alternative uses that can help the organization. That's one thing that I've been able to draw from our experiences and the experiences of TVET. Like, we are all in a country, but we are trying to understand AI. So all institutions must have their strategy in order, and that policy, that strategy, it may not be completely, 100% super, but we can learn how to tweak it to the context of our situation, our institution, and the country as a whole. Thank you. That's
Ms.
it.
Twaambo?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And I also want to add on that for Zambia, since we are going into the competency-based, fairly new in this arena, one of the ways that the Ministry of Technology and Science is trying to help TVET is through the giving the award of Center of Excellence to particular TVET institutions based on their specialization. So, for example, TVTC is the Center of Excellence in ICT. So that gives us the mandate and the power to be able to share what we learn in terms of how to actually integrate technology in skills-based training. So no wonder I alluded to say that we had a training in April, had another one last December. But the idea is, when we have these centers of excellence, yes, we have challenges with infrastructure, capacity, and so on. But if you identify certain institutions that are able to be built up slightly more than others, then they can be able to act as a hub of knowledge in that particular specialization. And I think so far we are seeing quite a number of good changes in TVET as a whole. Thank you.
I just want to thank both of you. We have run out of time, unfortunately. What I would like both of you to please do is to put your contact details into the chat, as I'm sure many people are going to want to ask you questions and maybe even collaborate with you moving on. It's been a very awe-inspiring conversation with you this morning, especially in terms of, again, the reiteration of the human element in learning, the personalized context. I think we're all feeling it, and I look forward to connecting with you after this. So thank you very much for both of your very passionate discussions this morning.
Thank you, Bianca. It's been a pleasure to be able to be part of this session. Thank you.
Thank you kindly.